Alrighty guys, we're back for Wounded Grixis, and this is a Duskmourn Standard brew, and I'm Redcat. Let's briefly go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked. First things first, this was a patron suggestion, so thank you so much for the suggestion. It's gonna be a fun one. It's Grixis Control, but our win condition is Grievous Wound. So Grievous Wound is a 5-mana enchantment aura. Enchanted player. Enchanted player can't gain life, okay. Whenever enchanted player is dealt damage, they lose half their life rounded up. So what we're pairing this with, of course, is some burn and a lot of just pokes, right? So we're poking the opponent with a flick a coin, for example. It's a 3-mana instant, does 1 damage to any target, create a treasure token, and then also draw a card. So replacing itself is pretty important. Other burn we have packed in, of course, like Lightning Strike. Hitting any target is going to be very, very important. Other pokes we have packed in, we got a couple Coruscation Mages. It's a 2-mana 2/2, has Offspring for 2. And whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this creature deals 1 damage to each opponent. So each time you poke the opponent's face with this damage, they lose half their life rounded up, which is a chunk of life, dude. It should be super interesting, but treat the whole deck list as a control deck list, and then, yeah, wait until you actually can play the Grievous Wound as our win condition, and then you can start hitting the opponent's face with things. Everything else just needs to control their creatures and whatnot. So that being said, we have a good chunk of board wipes packed in with 3 deadly cover-ups. Usually does the thing, so we got a couple ill-timed explosion too. Card draw is very important, but then also more board wipes. Speaking of card draw, we got a couple quick studies. Okay. Speaking of control, we got some counter spells in here. We got 3 Phantom Interference. Nice. Got to do some rearranging there. Got 3 Rona's Vortex for a little bit of tempo, but also has that kicker cost for 2 and a black, and you just completely banish the card to the bottom of the opponent's library, which sounds pretty darn good, right? A creature or planeswalker for Rona's Vortex, by the way. Don't get to see that one too often, so I thought I'd mention that. Got a couple artist talent as well. I'll tell you what, level 2 non-creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Getting Grievous Wound down to 4 mana sounds pretty good, especially when you're ramping with cards like Bandit's Hall too. On the top end, we have a Chandra Hope's Beacon. I think it'll be fine and dandy in here. It's a pretty good top end creature, but then also that passive. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, copy it. You may choose new targets for the copy. This ability triggers only once each turn. That's really good in a deck list like this. And then also the -X deals X damage to each of up to 2 targets. Of course, you can target your opponent there too. So yeah, kind of neat. We got a Elder Dragon War here too. That should do the thing. It's another board wipe, but it also hits the opponent's face too, which is going to be pretty important. Where Grievous Wound, you know, you're going to have to hit the opponent's face like 3-4 times before they're actually dead. But that being said, it's better than hitting the opponent's face 20 times. Now the mana base, guys, I thought about the mana base for a bit. I'm actually not going to go over it right now. Hopefully I landed on something good here. Sometimes when the mana base is super complicated, I like to wait for the end to go over it. And sometimes we have to change it up a little bit in the middle of the video too. While I think I landed on something good, you just never know. Just there it is. Not going to go over it right now. Honorable mentions. Oh, since some of our spot removal is Go for the Throat, destroy target non-artifact creature happens to still be really good, but that does mean that I considered a Braid, so we could also hit artifacts too. Didn't make the cut this time. Slick Sequence could have been pretty cool in here. Frolicking Familiar, maybe as like a one-of, an extra way to poke the opponent's face. And another list. That Urabrask did not make the cut, but it could be pretty cool in here. But it's just not an Urabrask list, so not this time around. Okay, guys, hopefully I went over the deck list well enough. Either way, I do my dandiest to save the more in-depth discussion for the end of the video, so look forward to that. In the meantime, let's go ahead, take this into some ranked, and see how we do. All right, we'll see if we can get right into that first game. In the meantime, what am I expecting from the list? I don't know. Treating it as Grixis Control, I think it should be a little bit decent, but it depends what we're seeing. And if we're still seeing a lot of early aggro, then I think we'll be all right against those lists. But if we're seeing a lot of the mid-range or discard or reanimation decks that have been popping up recently, then we might have a problem. Opponent goes first. We'll give this a shot. Got that Grievous Wound in the opening here. Here's some of that aggro, maybe. Well, maybe. All right, Thundering Falls. Rona's Vortex. I don't know what we're up against. I'm thinking we keep that. If we are up against... Well... Oh, Emberheart Challenger. Okay, we might be okay. Might be fine here. I was concerned it was going to be Boros Control, which would... I think it would be a pretty hard matchup, honestly. We should still be scared of Boros Mice, though, for sure. Keep the Go for the Throat open with the Phantom Interference, or just pop the Challenger now before they have protection for it. I think we keep it open. If they have protection for the Challenger, at least it's not like another buff spell or something. If they decide not to boost the Challenger, we'll just try to take the 2. Take the 2. All right. Maybe we have a good counter here then. We do not have a good counter. They go Demonic Ruckus. That's pretty brutal, man. Let's go for the throat then. We took the 2. We tried to be a little patient there. It didn't end up working out this time. Oh. They find protection. Crap. Well, Rona's Vortex is not necessarily the key here, since Challenger has haste and they can immediately drop the Demonic Ruckus on it. However, if they only have the 2, then we still have the counter on the interference. I'd love to thin the deck with Fabled Passage, but we are going to need all of the mana open for the turn. And do we do it now before they drop another Shard Mage's Rescue? I'd rather counter Challenger than a Shard Mage's Rescue. I'd also rather just banish the Challenger to the bottom with the Fool Kicker cost there, but I think this works out nicely. All right, counter. Nice. So far, we're surviving. Another Phantom Interference. We're going to go ahead, thin the deck list here. This is a lot of mana, guys. We actually don't have a second black source on the board for the Grievous Wound, so that's what we're going to grab right now. Okay, both abilities open on the Phantom Interference. That is a counterspell, though. Yep, keep these creatures off the board. Oh, they find another creature. Crap. Scavenger, and they have the Demonic Ruckus for next turn. Grievous Wound number 2, guys. Well, we have our win conditions, but we need more of our control. There's so many cards that could have taken care of the Scavenger, but now we might be in danger. Sheltered by Ghosts. Nice. The pain damage, guys. They're down to 7. Oh, the Sheltered by Ghost does pick up the Grievous Wound. I wasn't even thinking about that, guys. Yeah, it is, Why am I having trouble here? Exile target non-land permanent, right? Demonic Ruckus, extra counter, 5 damage coming through. They're gaining 5 back up to 12. Spot removal off the top. Let's see it, because they only have a mountain open. Heartfire Hero, crap. Oh no. It's land. It's decent land, but... Oh no. We might die next turn, guys. This might be it. We put up a pretty good fight here at the beginning, I would say. Also, a lot of our burn removal wasn't about to hit this 5-4 anyways. So, but I do think we could die this turn. Grievous Wound is really interesting with pain lands. That's very, very interesting. And also something I really didn't consider with the Grievous Wound. They're going back up to 17 here. They got 6 on the board, guys. That's why I think that we could easily die if it was just a couple auras. Apparently it's not, though. Oh! It's a Monstrous Rage. That's 10. That's 11. Crap, guys. It was as easy as a Monstrous Rage. Oh, and since they didn't pick up the other Grievous Wound... I'm sorry, guys. I'm kind of all over here with this first game. Yeah, enchanted player can't gain life as well. They weren't going to gain that life from the lifelink. The reason they gained it last time was, of course, because their Shelter by Ghost picked up our Grievous Wound. But since we had the second one... Alright, guys. Well, I think we're totally fine. If we go up against that deck list again, totally fine. We can get there. As a matter of fact, I would love a little bit of revenge against the Boros Auras. Maybe later on in the video. Opponent goes first. That's a keepable hand, bro. We got red source on Fable, which I'm actually just not going to prioritize at the beginning here. It's going to be Verge, Island. No. Maybe I will prioritize this. We saw a lot of mana in that last game. Plus, it's tapped right now. Oh, there we go. There we go. That works well. I don't mind the second quick study. I'll keep it. Although, yeah, I'll keep it. Because we can keep this open with like our counter spells and stuff, which makes a lot of sense. Okay, Lightning Strike and Phantom Interference is open. Third mana from the opponent. Gonna be passing it back. Okay, I'm gonna keep the Lightning Strike in hand, obviously. Bandit's Hall's a pretty bad counter. It's a good ramp, though. We're going to prioritize keeping our counter open for, like, a Shieldred. And if we don't use it, we'll try a quick study. If they counter quick study, maybe we'll try Bandit's Hall next turn. Passing it on back. Let's see that counter spell. Nice. Got to draw 2, which is huge news. A lot of mana. We'll go ahead and grab the second black source with the Fabled Passage. Swamp. And we'll see if Bandit's Hall lands. If it does, we'll still have Phantom Interference and Lightning Strike open. If it doesn't land, if like, well, first of all, I feel like the counterspell would have happened on the quick study then, right? Vraska's Fall. Sacrifices creature or planeswalker gets a poison counter. So it's one of these, huh? Alright. They get the poison ball rolling, but I'm pretty sure we're going to have a better counterspell at some point. Or we're going to need that 2/2. Oh, you know what, though? They're probably going to have plenty of mana to pay for this. Serum Snare. Get the Proliferate going. Okay. See, they have the 2. So maybe I should have done that with the Vraska's Fall last turn. They wouldn't have got the Poison Ball rolling, which means no Proliferate. Grievous Wound. It's pretty risky to try that right now, right? Bandit's Hall. They have the counter this time. Experimental Augury. Proliferate. Crap, dude. I feel like we just have we have tough decisions here, but while they only have one, we should probably counter this, and it's an all right counter, isn't it? It's all right. Because no poison, and then this is actually a pretty important ability for a deck list like this. Looking at the top 3, grabbing one. Nice, a creature that we can actually target. Which is good news. Bandit's Hall, going back to our hand again. If we bounce the Skull Dweller, they just play it again, so we just accept the fate of Bandit's Hall for now. 3 poison. They only got 1 card in hand, guys. Okay. We'll have 4 open. Quick Study, Rona's Vortex. Rona's Vortex for 4 is actually pretty decent. At some point, I want Bandit's Hall to actually stick around, and Grievous Wound could also be pretty good for the turn, but we don't have too many ways to poke through right now. So, alright. Keeping it all open. Passing it back to the opponent. Might just be Rona's Vortex fully kicking the Rona's Vortex here. give it a shot. Commit a crime for the Bandit's Hall. No counterspell. Great news. At 3 poison, they find more mana. Woo, buddy. Coruscation Mage is pretty good. We could go Offspring here in case their last card is removal. 1, 2, 3, 4 mana still open. Let's go Offspring. And then we'll have a quick study. Now, Coruscation Mage says each opponent, it's not target opponent, but still, and we're still saving the Lightning Strike for once the Grievous Wound is on the board. I'm feeling good, but if they have a counterspell for the Grievous Wound when it comes time, that could be pretty bad. All right, 1 mage off the board. Yeah, their last card was removal, so I think going Offspring here was pretty darn good. Oh, they find more spot removal off the top, guys. They're kind of looking at our 1/1. They do. Let's go quick study then. We probably should have done this last turn for the extra ping on our other Coruscation Mage, but that's fine. All right, not a lot of ways to poke through with the Grievous Wound, but play the mana. Grievous Wound. We'll draw on the Bandit's Hall too if we want. But we can also keep that all open. We honestly might want to generate a 2/2 with the Phantom Interference. It's mana. All right, let's generate that 2/2. Because of course swinging in counts for the Grievous Wound. Flick a coin, that's pretty good. Start with flick a coin. Draw a card. Opponent's down to 9, and that's about it, right? Do that again, and then Lightning Strike. Good game, opponent. There we go, guys. Now, the opponent was also rocking a control list. Our win condition just proved itself a little better than the poison win condition that time around. That was cool. That's exactly what the deck list is trying to do. But I guess overall, the opponent didn't bring too much pressure to the table. I've been seeing more of that Dimir poison recently, guys. Is there like is there a lot more people playing that, or is it just a complete coincidence that I'm seeing more of it? You guys let me know in the comments if you're seeing it a lot too. The meta's been interesting. Really been back and forth. There's been a lot of variation between aggro, mid-range, and control. No blue source. This is a mulligan, right? Like, we have early removal. Eventually, we have a board wipe. We go first. This is a mulligan. I think we can do much, much better. Okay, all the mana we need for now. We'll send the... I don't want to send the win condition, but I suppose we should. Again, treat it as a control list. It's kind of rough sending that, but everything else in hand might be incredibly necessary. Surveil. You want the 3rd mana for sure. Oh, Heartfire Hero. I'm glad we mulliganed, guys. Too bad the flick a coin isn't hitting that right now. And so really good news that we went first. All right, they find their 2nd mana. I was thinking for a second, I wonder if they're stuck on 1. Sometimes that happens when you're up against aggro. Especially mono red. A lot of people keep 1 mountain and get stuck on it for like 3 turns in a row. It's a really, really good counter spell. We don't even, like, no questions about it. We just go right into flick a coin. They're tapped out. Get the Heartfire hero out of here. Flick a coin replaces itself, and we ramp, dude. So we have Rona's Vortex open. It's kind of disgusting how good that turn was. Another Rona's Vortex. Okay. Bandit's Hall. I doubt that was their only 2 creatures. But playing nothing last turn was probably a good sign. Manifold Mouse. It's a good bounce with the Vortex, right? We commit a crime with the Bandit's Hall. But I might just draw 2. Oh, that's a really good bounce with the Vortex. Yeah, that's a really good bounce. Eventually we'll banish it too with the other Rona's Vortex. Quick Study open. 1, 2, 3, 4. Both of these cards are open. Start with the Quick Study then at that point too. Find a 4th mana. Crap, Offspring is a problem. Hopefully we find a counterspell then, but we only have 3 packed in. Okay, more removal, I guess, kind of works. Yeah, finding their 4th was really good there. Since we bounced it, they had the chance for the Offspring. And we might as well do this right now, right? Banish it to the bottom of its owner's library. They still get the other one, though. There's a lot of mana. We definitely don't want to see more mana off the top. Okay, let's go Bandit's Hall draw. Alright, Deadly Cover-Up's pretty good. I think we just, like... It's kind of a shame. But I think before they give protection to the 1/1, I think we just take it out with the Lightning Strike. It's kind of a shame, but... Yeah, we don't want more mana off the top, that's for sure. Alright, another Deadly Cover-Up. I guess it's not terrible. I don't know who this is leaning towards right now, but I do know one thing. Being at 18 life is pretty darn good. This late into the game. We just need to see a bit more. And sending that Grievous Wound. Oh, Grievous Wound. Hi. This is so good because it commits a crime for the Bandit's Hall. Then we can draw off the Bandit's Hall too. We'll wait for their turn though. We'll just scare them. Make them think we have stuff in hand too. Yeah, so our win conditions on the board, now we just need ways to poke through the damage, which we should be able to draw into easily. Ill-timed Explosion, more card draw, which is Sorcery Speed card draw. I'll do that right now. No discards required. Decline. And Lightning Strike is terrific. But we keep it open as spot removal for now, even though we might not need the spot removal. Thran Portal's probably really bad. They never want to tap that right now. Not with the Grievous Wound on the board. Alright, we'll poke the opponent's face. And it's 3 and then it's half. So they're going down to 8 here. Fabled Passage, dude. We gotta thin this deck for sure. I guess we'll grab a Swamp. Without any issues. Yeah, these deadly cover-ups and whatnot are keeping us safe long enough to find the rest of the pings for the Grievous Wound. We had some really good hits here. I think the opponent's just missing creatures, right? That's a lot of mana. Optimistic Scavenger, okay. Okay, probably take our Grievous Wound this turn then with the Sheltered by Ghosts. Luckily, Deadly Cover-Up's in hand. We're getting around the ward cost and everything anyways. Yeah, I can only imagine they were waiting for the right moment. think this is the perfect game to get that revenge that I was talking about against these Boros Aura lists. Give it flying, putting all their eggs onto one basket. Unfortunately, board wipe gets around that ward basket. Plus, we have so much mana anyways. Wow, more mana too. Actually just kind of awful, isn't it? All right, Deadly Cover-Up number 1. We will gladly collect that evidence, and we will do, let's see, you and, what is it? Oh, it's Collect Evidence 6. We'll do these then. 1 Mountain Open. Get our Grievous Wound back. When it comes back, we target again, right? So we commit a crime with the Bandit's Hall. And we'll exile. It's between. So, I guess, I don't know. Heartfire Hero would be fine. There they are. And what was in the opponent's hand? Oh, they have an Emberheart Challenger. Oh. And target the opponent. That does not count as committing a crime. Interesting. Emberheart Challenger should be a huge issue here, guys. So it looks like they were saving up for a huge explosion all in one turn. They also don't know what's in our hand. They might just think that we have instant speed spot removal, but... Alright, guys. Grievous Wound. Number 2. Draw on the Bandit's Hall. Got 4 mana open. More mana! Holy cow, we got so much mana, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 within hand. Fabled Passage is 13. Here they come, guys. Here they come. Wow, Scavenger. Dude, they're going to be so sad about this second Deadly Cover-Up. If we don't die this turn. Jeez, bro. Sheltered by Ghosts, 1 of the wounds. Actually going back up to... Boy, we just need more ways to win right now. Ethereal Armor. So they still took the other half from the other Grievous Wound, right? And they won't gain life here either, thanks to having the second Grievous Wound. Well, no matter what, guys, we have to wipe the board again. Literally no matter what. And the Challenger is definitely... Wait, not literally no matter what. We could also draw into 2... wow. Coruscation Mage. If we play that out, it's 1 damage down to 5, then half, which is down to 2, right? So that's actually it, right? I'm not mathing that wrong, am I? Well, we'll find out together, won't we? Deadly Cover-Up in this is fine. So it's 1 damage down to 5, then down to 2, then 1 damage down to 0. There we go, there we go. Dude, it took us forever to find that. Holy cow, man. Holy cow, we used so many draw spells that game too. Did we use both quick studies? And an ill-timed explosion. Good game. It got a little scary there towards the end when they found their Emberheart Challenger. That's something to bring up. Like, we might need more ways to poke damage through to the opponent's face. But outside of that, just treating it. Grixis Control. That Grievous Wound is our win condition. It's really cool so far, isn't it? I like it. Yeah, we just might need more ways to poke through. Oh, guys, while I have you here towards the end of the video, make sure you check out that description where we got that Discord link, as well as that Patreon link, too, if you're interested in supporting the channel that way. And also with the other YouTube nonsense, if you like the video, make sure you drop it a like. And if you enjoy the channel, then consider subscribing as well, because it really does help out the channel. No black source in hand, no guaranteed way to get it. We should mulligan. The opponent goes first, too. This could be very, very slow with only a Rona's Vortex. There we go. There we go. Okay. What are we sending? deadly cover-ups where we're furthest from, and we have 3 of them in the build. Just keeping the early spot removal should be okay. If we grab Swamp with the Fabled Passage, Coruscation Mage. Crap, guys, they went first with the Swiss Spear. That means Verge should probably come down in case we need to bounce that with the Vortex this turn. If they're just going to ping for 1, though, we're just going to let them ping for 1. Okay, nice. 1 mountain. Thundering Falls was pretty darn good, but now we want to keep open Go for the Throat. Remember, we don't have a red source on the board right now. A little easy to forget with these Verges. I'll just let 1 ping through if that's what they want to do. Okay. Okay, Slick Shot Show Off, and that's why we've been letting these ones ping through, huh? So I'll have the 2 for the Phantom Interference. We hold back, right? I hope so. We'll get the Thundering Falls down for the turn. We have counter with the interference, but okay, I'll keep the Quick Study on top, I guess. All right. We keep all the control things open. We do our dandiest to get around what mono red does best. 3rd mana. Not even going to play the Slick Shot Show Off, guys. They want to ping 1, then they can ping 1, I guess. Yeah. That's fine, that's fine. Face down, Ward 2. That's our counter spell. That's the one to hit. Fugitive Codebreaker. Yeah, because they spent all 3 mana on that. It slows them down pretty well. Alright, Quick Study and Fabled Passage to probably thin the deck list. We can successfully grab anything we want here, and I think we'll grab 2 blue on the board. I think we'll grab a Swamp red source. We have 2 red sources. I guess it doesn't really matter. I guess I'll grab a mountain. So Mage can come down. We can start pinging the opponent that way. We'll have jump blockers on the ground. That's when the Slick Shot Show Off comes in and tries to wrap it up for the opponent, though. So I think we hold back again. Have Rona's Vortex as tempo and Quick Study open potentially. Or Rona's Vortex 4 mana. Or we could have played Coruscation Mage without the Offspring, too. Percussionist is pretty good. Alright, I guess I'll finally try to kill the Swiss Spear and see what happens. The Swiss Spear has done enough damage, right? We've slowed him down pretty good. I'm not going to bounce with the Vortex. They're being very, very cautious with their Slick Shot Show Off, waiting for the right explosive moment, which I agree with, opponent. Flick a Coin is decent. See our Surveil here. Go for the Throat? I guess. I guess so. Alright. Keep it all open. Pass it back. I really like these card backs. I don't know if I've seen these before. Where'd they get these? Alright, I'll attempt the Flick a Coin, I guess. We'll see what ends up happening here. It might miss, and if they drop like a Monstrous Rage or something, then maybe the Rona's Vortex would be fine. Alright, they get to see the top card. They can play it until the end of next turn. Ren's Resolve, that's really good. That's really good for the opponent. 2 shocks as well, wow. So now our Coruscation Mage is really going to miss its mark if we try to play that for the turn. Definitely need to thin the deck list. Let's go ahead and grab a Swamp this time. Alright. Keep all the removal and finally Quick Study. We'll have enough mana to go Quick Study and still have like a full-blown Rona's Vortex too. While they have the 2 open, they might just want to shock our face. That's what they're going to do, bringing us down to 11. We could attempt Quick Study for a counter spell, but I don't think shock is a great counter. Another thing that they could have done too is, since it's until the end of their next turn, right? They could have finally played their Slick Shot Show Off and then got it popping off with the shocks. Ember Heart Challenger. Now's the time to find a counter spell. Outside of that, Go for the Throat obviously hits that too. It is going to be a counter spell. Oh wait, they still have 3 open. Well, that's okay. Yeah, we'll still just kill it with the Go for the Throat then, I guess, right? Yeah, that's fine. This should be a pretty rough game for the opponent, and the best way for them to get through is actually just going to find more burn off the top. Another Phantom Interference is actually terrific. So much mana that we can just straight up drop the Coruscation Mage and still have 4 mana open, guys. Now, if we can find our Grievous Wound, now we're talking. I think one of the best things we could do today would be banishing that Slick Shot Show Off to the bottom of the opponent's library. They're not going to play it. Alright, what the heck, man. I'll go for the Spirit. I guess you never know. We could find Grievous Wound off the top. And a full swing with a Grievous Wound on the board and then dropping the other cards could be really, really good. Wow, Chandra. Hi, dude. Then they'll have the Show Off, though, available. Darn it, right? That's cool. That's cool and all. But we have to keep the Rona's Vortex open no matter what. Because they're obviously waiting for an explosive turn, and they could easily get there with Show Off. Easily. Down to 13. Yeah, we have to wait on the Chandra until they get down to like 7, and then we can go -5. They do go Mirrex token. Nice. They find more mana, which is probably pretty unlucky, I would say. Alright, I'll go for the block. I'll go for it. If it's a Monstrous Rage, at least that's the Monstrous Rage out of their hand. Opponent going down to 11, though. If we have 1, 2, 3... Oh, Witchstalker Frenzy. Okay. Well, then I'll just take the 1 down to 10. Yeah, we have 5 on the board. If they don't kill the mages, then we go for the victory, right? We go for it. We full swing. Swing for 5. Down to 6. They got 2 cards in hand. I'm risking it. Let's do it. 2 going through. Yeah, they didn't pop the mages in time at this point. Down to 4, and then we go -4. We could target the opponent and their 1/1. Awesome stuff, dude. Really, really awesome stuff. Really doing the control thing. GG opponent. Our top end Chandra coming in play there too. Cool, man. This deck list totally did the thing. At any point in that game too, seeing our actual win condition of Grievous Wound would have been really good as well. Awesome. Yeah, let's go over the deck list again, guys. I don't think we have time for another one. About 40 minutes in. Because, of course, I always have a thing or two to say. Wounded Grixis. Wow. I'm a little bit impressed. First of all, don't go up any of the mages, even though they were pretty good today. 2 makes the most sense to me. We're still a control list. I know, broken record at this point. Treat it like you're a control list with the win condition of Grievous Wound, which just happens to be like burn win condition then, but we're just poking through that burn and just doing massive amounts of damage to the opponent's life total at that point too. All 4 Flick of Coins make a lot of sense. Actually, any amount of ramp makes a lot of sense in here. Look, guys, only 25 mana. It totally felt like 27 mana today. keep the 25. It's very important to hit your land every single turn in a deck list like that. Any control deck list, realistically, you want to hit your land every single turn, or more often than not, right? So 25 makes sense. It felt like much more, and sometimes it's going to feel like much less too. So I think 25 is right on the money. And 3 deadly cover-ups, great. I wouldn't go up to 4. I would not drop down to 2. It's a very good board wipe. And if you go down to 2 and you go up another ill-timed explosion, there's not too much top end here, and there's going to be plenty of moments where you need to do like 6 damage to an entire board state, or 5 damage at that point too. And if you're discarding a Grievous Wound, well, now you're 1 down on your win conditions. Yeah, outside of that, I brought up that we might need more ways to poke through to the opponent's face, and I'm not really sure what to add or take out. The deck list actually performed well enough for me to say, I'm not going to change anything, but there might still be a lot of games where we have our Grievous Wound and we're just waiting to find ways to hit the opponent's face. In this deck list, what are those ways? Well, flying in with the Spirit on Phantom Interference, for example. Chandra Hope's Beacon on the top end is a way to hit the opponent's face. Elder Dragon War hits the opponent's face. Lightning Strike, all 4 of those hit the opponent's face, of course. Flick a Coin, all 4 of those hit the opponent's face and replace themselves too, which is kind of important. We didn't get to see Artist Talent do the thing today, so that's one thing where if maybe you don't have Artist Talent, you just go up a couple more pieces of poke. Something that hits the opponent's face, right? A couple shocks or something like that. Could really work well. I think usually the Artist Talent is going to be pretty good when we do see it and when we do actually have the chance to level it up as well. Non-creature spells costing 1 less when we have this many non-creature spells. Even getting Chandra down to 5 mana would be really, really good, right? The ramp with the Bandit's Hall is always an MVP. I've been playing a lot of this recently. It's really good, man. It's a really good mana rock in the right build where you're actually targeting. Because when you are up against like a fellow mid-range player or a fellow control player, then the game goes on longer, and all of a sudden your mana rock that's already ramped you pretty darn well is also drawing you cards now in that late game. I like it. I like it a lot. Bandit's Hall going to make the cut in a lot more of my lists in the future as well. Guys, Rona's Vortex was pretty good too. Even got to kick it today, right? So the mana base. Let's talk about the mana base. I don't like how I rearranged it though. Hold on. Mana base, guys. Let's move this over so we have more room. Move it all over. Okay. That's what I could have done instead of just backing out, but still. If we look here, we have 4 Verge, which is usually coming in as a blue source until you have an island or a swamp, and then it's a blue and black source. The other Verge is a black source until we have a swamp or a mountain, and then it's a black and red source. So Thundering Falls is an island and a mountain, so all you need is one of the Verges, this one or this one, with a Thundering Falls, and then you're good. You're good to go. You got all the mana you need on the board. That's kind of how that works, right? I think this pairing actually worked out really, really nicely. Here's the split in the mana base, guys. We're majority red and a pretty even split between black and blue. Majority red with the mountain, even split between swamps and islands, and a couple Fabled Passage to also help us further mana fix too. For example, if you see a couple Gloomlake Verges, then they're only going to be blue sources. You really need a black source? Well, you can grab a swamp. Now the Verge is also a black source when you grab the swamp off the Fabled Passage, right? Now, of course, you don't have a red source on the board yet, but we are majority red anyways, so I don't know how often this Fountainport's going to hold you up in a 3-color deck list, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be fine and dandy in this deck list in particular, right? I don't think it's going to hold you up very often. The double quick studies felt pretty good. This could be your draw of choice. Just remember, guys, it's a 3-color deck list. So if you're going to go up something like 3 steps ahead that's double blue, you're going to be looking at the mana base, and it's going to be a little bit greedier than you would hope sometimes. That being said, double blue's on the counter side of it. Outside of that, if you're looking at the bottom ability for the draw, it is draw 2, then discard 1. Quick study is just straight up draw 2 as well. So it could be your draw of choice. Generally speaking, I don't know what I'm talking about with blue cards, and so maybe I overlooked something. Your draw spell of choice works. I would make sure that it's instant speed though. because there's a lot of turns. How many instants do we have? We have 19 instants in here. Of course, counter spells, Rona's Vortex, instant speed, lightning strike, flick a coin, instant speed, right? Something noteworthy on flick a coin too. Like that treasure always goes the extra mile. The ramp here on 3 is actually all 4 flick a coins and the Bandit's Hall. So 6 cards at 3 mana that ramps us into a turn 4 Grievous Wound or a turn 4 Deadly Cover-Up. And let's be real, guys, there's going to be plenty of games where you need that turn 4 Deadly Cover-Up too. So flick a coin, just one to keep your eye on, and I play it in my Urabrask deck lists as well. It's pretty good. I love that it replaces itself, and yeah, the treasure always goes the extra mile. Woo! Lots to say about this one, but I said it pretty fast. I think that's it. Oh, the go for the throats, totally hitting their mark. This could also be your spot removal of choice if you want Bitter Triumph instead. Go for it. I think that go for the throat also just works fine and dandy. For what this deck list is trying to do. And if you're having trouble with Planeswalkers, then I could see Bitter Triumph, but don't forget, Rona's Vortex does bounce Planeswalkers too, or banish it to the bottom, right? So, okay, guys. Enough rambling? If you made it this far into the video for real, y'all are champions. I hope you enjoyed the deck list as much as I did, and thank you again for the patron suggestion, which I guess technically wasn't in the suggested area, but it was brought up in the Discord, so I totally just counted it as a patron suggestion. So I hope that's okay. It was brought up in the Discord area by a patron, and I think when it's brought up, I think I'm going to do that more often too. If there's a fun discussion or something over in the Discord, even if it's not a patron, I'll still call it like a Discord suggestion or something. I thought I'd bring that up, and that's all. All right, guys, yeah. Thanks again for being here. I super duper appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video.